Gentleman here, Michael Carrick, he has revolutionized how the thinking of Manchester United has been since the start of the year. And he has transformed United from where they sat to now sitting comfortably in a position where they are going to be playing Champions League football. But what game was that one that got them all the points actually mathematically that they needed to make it into the Champions League next season? It was that epic game against their most, unfavored rivals, Liverpool. That's what happened. And in that game, it ended in favor of Manchester United, 3-2. So that means that this season it's been beaten all around for Liverpool, and it's been a long while such a thing happened. But how did the game go around? Michael Carrick has two faces to a game. Start scoring and be comfortable, and when it's getting risky, we go scoring again. So let's break it down and see what happened. So initially started with a very, Michael Carrick-like formation where he placed in a 4-back, 2 midfielders or 2 holders and 3 attackers, and certainly 1 person up top. Up top, he had Benjamin Sesko. In post, he had Saint Lemar, yes, a.k.a. Sam Amen. Yes, he was in the goal post, and he had a very interesting array of back four. In holding, he had the man who had just signed a £150,000 contract, Kobbie Mainoo, pairing with the outgoing Casemiro, and certainly Captain Fantastic Bruno Fernandes was also there. For Liverpool, they started with a weird formation where Curtis Jones, instead of playing in midfield like we have all known and come accustomed to, he started in the right back position, and right wing back or right back Jeremy Frimpong was playing out wide in front. Now, how did that impact everything? That was the start of glorious trouble for Arne Slot, who sweated for solid 45 minutes before sort of finding a solution and then got twatted again. So this was how United were literally dealing with the ball. Anytime they had it, they wanted to build from the back. So it was more like you have Maguire, who was literally just scaling and dancing around the likes of Szoboszlai. Sometimes you have McAllister there. But this was made possible due to a couple of things. So Fernandes was roaming largely in here, but constantly kept being drawn to the right-hand side of the pitch. Now, Kobbie Mainoo was dropping back for the moving Maguire to prevent any unforeseen circumstances of what you would have of a counter-attack from Liverpool. To further press Liverpool back to avoid a counter-attack, they had the likes of Dalot going wide to make sure that he occupied Gakpo. So it was weird to see Gakpo in this position because per the formation of Liverpool, Gakpo is supposed to be somewhere here. However, without the ball, Gakpo kept on drifting out wide and allowing Florian Wirtz to drop infield, where he was literally missing for the largest part of the first 45 minutes. So this happens, and Mbeumo has a space to also run back, and constantly this particular space, we'll talk about this space in here, it kept drawing the man Virgil van Dijk and making him look funny. So this is how United sought to build in the early phases of the game. Then again, that is how they went on to eventually get 2 very interesting goals. A very nice Matheus Cunha goal, which started again from the right-hand side, and it goes to the other side, and then it came from a set piece actually, and then you also get that really interesting goal. Others are saying it's a foul ball and shouldn't count as a goal, but Sesko got credited with the second goal. Now, United then still continued this fervent attack on Liverpool, because Liverpool were literally for the taking. I will explain much later why they were for the taking. Again, you have a Bruno Fernandes dropping to the side, because Bruno Fernandes literally was operating in the right inside channel, allowing Mbeumo to sometimes go in there and also cause trouble. But it led to the likes of in such a situation, you've got this whole missing link here, where Sesko was constantly running on the back angle of the man Ibrahima Konate. Why? Because Mbeumo had drawn a defender to him and occasionally had McAllister come in there rather to close the space. Where was Robertson in this whole case? He's here. He's now trying to track back because the ball has broken loose for Manchester United to counter. Robertson totally out of position, now forcing the man, Virgil van Dijk, to try and cover this place. Now, guess what? He covers here, Bruno Fernandes comes here, Šeško is one-on-one with Ibrahima Konate, and that spells absolute trouble. Now, for Liverpool, it was not all that, trouble, but they were just not building anything, concrete and anything substantive to get in that box. To start with, Frimpong hanging out here and Robertson hanging here. Robertson for the day was the left back. Frimpong for the day was the right winger. But both of them are supposed to provide width for whatever Arne Slot had planned on doing. But was it possible? No. Why was it not? Now, Robertson provides this width. No one is actually looking at Robertson invariably because he had no threat on him. Frimpong is here, slightly being monitored by Luke Shaw, who he could not beat the entire game. Now look at the positioning of the likes of Gravenberch, who at this point had advanced. Now Cody Gakpo goes in here and is expecting to do a little bit of a bounce around of the ball and get an open space, but it was not happening. Constantly, they kept on walking the ball into the penalty box, but nothing was coming off it. Again, you find something similar here with Gakpo dropping back, trying to link up play with Florian Wirtz. But again, Robertson is on his own, and no one is actually keeping an eye on Robertson or Frimpong. Now, this all switches in the second half because everything goes haywire for Arne Slot in the dressing room, where he tells the guys, please, let's do the simplest of things and do it well. Now, they come out of the blocks flying like never before. Liverpool came out with a very, very interesting shape. Still, Florian Wirtz playing on the far side. Now, McAllister much closer, attacking the inside channel. You've got Gakpo, who is now going much more centrally, and also Szoboszlai going on the right inside channel, constantly now causing trouble for the likes of Adrian Haven and the man that is, yes, Harry Maguire, who were found wanting on a couple of occasions, and then Liverpool used this particular means of pressure, constantly leaving the entire midfield duo of Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo for dead till they were able to equalize those two goals. Now, after the equalizer, a lot happened, but before the equalizer as well, something happened. Now, Slot told his men to just play it simple. Be regular, what? Yes, be regular midfielder. So you've got Gravenberch, you've got McAllister close by, you've got Szoboszlai. Very close, very compact. You've got Curtis Jones still here. And Frimpong, for whatever reason that Arne Slot actually was trying to deploy, Frimpong in, it actually backfired and did not work in that regard. Robertson also in there, and this helped Liverpool in such a way that it was much compact. It helped them close up their ranks and not be so expansive as they were in the first half and caused them a lot of trouble. Now, game is at 2-2. They have the opportunity literally to take Manchester United for that in the second half. And then after they also score 2 goals, they go back into their shells, go back to sleep, and allow the likes of Manchester United to again bomb forward and hurt them. They were in a certain position and in a certain situation where they could actually trouble the back line. But the likes of Florian Wirtz and Cody Gakpo, who was actually playing as a false 9, but kept drifting out wide, drifting centrally, way beyond where he's supposed to be, kept on making things a bit difficult for the team at Liverpool. And it was not to be. And at the end of the day, Manchester United, a powered pressure, got that really good strike from the man, Kobbie Mainoo, to seal their berth in next year's Champions League. What a way to end a particular week for a gentleman who went from signing a new contract, earning £150,000 sterling a week, and going on to seal qualification in the next phase for Manchester United in the Champions League next year. They are flying high. Old Trafford has Champions League football back, and one man to thank is Michael Carrick.